Consider this Java class which has an age field of type integer. We can assign whatever integer that we like to age simply by accessing it like Now what happens if we assign a negative value to age? Nothing will prevent us, since we are simply assigning an integer value to an integer field or placeholder. If we want to have control on the values being assigned, the Java programmers make the field hidden so that it is not accessible anymore to be changed. Then, in order to make it possible to assign values, they have to provide a function. This function will have access to the hidden field and will check for wrong values before assignment. Now what happens if we want to check the value of the age, since we cannot access it anymore like this? Again, we have to provide a function which will only return the current value of the hidden field. Now we can simply assign values to age field by calling setAge function, and also get value of the age field by calling getAge function. So a backing field, a dedicated setter function, and a dedicated getter function together form a property named age. Not to mention, properties in Java force you to set and get the value in an ugly and verbose way through calling functions. Now consider this person class in Kotlin. In Kotlin, all the placeholders are property and you cannot define fields. But you might ask, where is the setter and getter function of this age property? Well, if you don't provide it yourself, Kotlin will write the default implementation for us. In the default implementation, the setter function will simply assign the value to the backing field, and the getter function will return the value of the backing field. So the setter and getter function must be named set and get and must be written right below the property. And the backing field of each property is only accessible inside its setter and getter by the name of field. Now we can override the default setter and check for negative values and leave the default getter as is. The great thing about Kotlin properties is that you don't have to call ugly functions for setting and getting them. Now let's spice it up with another property which indicates if person is old or not. We have made it val since it is not assignable, but we want to calculate it every time it is asked based on age property. Pay attention that I have not used backing field for isOld property and simply calculating it every time it is asked. So we have the age property with overridden set logic, the isOld property with no backing field and overridden get logic, and setting and getting them like we are assigning or asking value off of a placeholder, while functions are called every time behind the scenes when we set and get. For more videos and to see all these in action in a real-world Kotlin application written from scratch, head to our YouTube channel.